today we are going to talk about and you're going to think about your organization system. Now, your organization system is very, very important because even though it might not be inherently interesting and you might not want to spend a lot of time thinking about it, it is something that will kind of keep you on track. And if you're the kind of person like I can be, if you don't make an effort to set some time aside and think about your organization system and reorganize yourself, things can just sort of all of a sudden fall apart. Like, you're gonna one day realize, I don't know where any of my stuff is. My locker is a war zone. I can't find that paper. And then on top of all the other stress you're doing, you're gonna have that too. So there's a couple things that we need to talk about, and we're gonna do that kind of one at a time. So hopefully you took that second to see the elements of the organization system. Now, this is just kind of a really easy way to think about it that I came up with, and that will show you kind of the parts of the organization system that you need. And you need to have all of these or it's not really going to work as well as it could. So you need a capture part, and the capture part is, how do I get a hold of all of the things that I need? How do I get a hold of my papers? How do I get a hold of the tasks? What do I need to have? I'm going to capture it, okay? Then you always want to check it, make sure you have what you need. Like, if you forgot to write your homework down, if you have a check system in place where every single day at the end of class you check your homework book or your app to see if you wrote something down, that will keep you from missing things, okay? Then you need to have a system where you actually do the things that are on your list, because having a to-do list is really great, but you never actually do it, then it's kind of a waste of time. Then you want to store. That is a process where you're going through the things that you have and you take the things that you don't need anymore and you take them out. So I did this for social studies, and then we took the quiz and that unit is over and I don't need this anymore, but you don't want to just throw it away. Now, I will say, if you can part with it, just throw it away. You don't need to keep every paper you've ever had, but there are times when you may want to save it. Maybe you're going to have a midterm or you're going to have a final later and you want to be able to have those things. And that's where you have a system at home and you can take the things out of your binders or your folders or your Trapper Keeper or whatever you're using to keep your papers organized, and take that out, okay? So I'm going to show you some slides with the rest of the elements of the organization system. And I want you to really sit and I want you to go through and think about, how am I organizing and what do I do and what works and what doesn't work. And then you're going to head on over to the discussion board and you're going to have a discussion and you're going to share what your organization system looks like. And you're going to come back a couple times until other people have posted, and then you're going to comment on what you think the strengths and the weaknesses are of their system. So make sure that you reply to at least 2 people's posts and you post your own. More details are going to be over at the discussion board, so once you get a second to take a look at all of these slides, head on over to the discussion board and the questions will be there. One thing I want to talk really quickly about what makes a good post, because I don't know that I've explained this really well in the past, but you should use RACE. You should be familiar with RACE. But basically, when you're given something to write about, you should restate the question, okay, and restate it, reword it, turn it into a statement. Okay, then answer the question. So ask yourself what's being asked, answer all parts of the question, and then cite the source. Cite how you know that that is true. So if you went and you looked in your folder or your binder and that's how you know that your papers are cray-cray, that would be your source. But in other cases, you might have a text that you're referencing, and that might make a little bit more sense too. Okay, and then you want to explain your response. So you would put something like, for example, or this shows, or this means. You're going to explain why you said that. So make sure that when you're writing, including your responses, your original posts and then your responses to others, that you are writing well and you're critically thinking about what you're saying and how you're communicating it. And you do that in your responses to other people too. So don't just say, oh, I agree with that, that makes sense. Explain what you agree with and what you've seen in what we're talking about, the slides, or in life that allows you to think that you agree with that. So explain why you agree with what you agree with. So Okay, now you can head on over and go to the discussion and get to it.